and I come from Cyprus, which will be on the screen for those who don't know where Cyprus is. Okay, by talking to you the last couple of days about educational system, I had a crazy idea, how crazy you will tell me later, that the Council of Europe and the European Union at a later stage could adopt a single unified educational system for every single member state of the EU. How feasible, how possible, how crazy, or how correct it is such a scenario. We know that there are a lot of educational systems around in Europe. In some countries, like in Germany, for example, there are even different systems in every province. And we also know that some of them are doing very well. They top the rankings of good education internationally, and some others lag behind. There have been a lot of researches and assessments of educational systems, and we know, for example, that the Finnish model or the model of Japan and Singapore, they're very successful, and they're producing very, very high learning results. And there are other countries, like my country, for example, Cyprus, here it is, in the heart of Europe. Where we have problems with our system. You see? It's in the heart of
Yes.
Okay. So we have problems in my country with the educational system, which changes every time a government comes to power, every time a minister takes office, every time a trade union manages to convince the minister. And usually the reforms that we have are not going towards the right direction. So maybe it's a challenge to think about one single model that we know that it is successful. Of course, there's a lot of difficulties and a lot of questions that need to be answered. Like, for example, school hours, context of curricula, way of testing kids, of assessing teachers, of training teachers, and so on. These are issues that are very important, but I think they have been addressed. They're always being addressed, and there are answers to all of them, so maybe it is not impossible to do it. We have learned from the recession that hit Europe since 2008 that the countries that have very good structures and very good systems in education, in health, in economy, in welfare, and so on, they have sustained these recession pressures. They have coped very well with it, and there are other cases like Cyprus, for example, where we didn't have these policies in place. Our policies were based on very fragile and opportunistic basis that we cannot cope with the recession. And now we have very, very big problems there. We have also learned another thing from the recession, which is not very positive, but it is something to think about, is that policies can be imposed in one country in a very harsh, undemocratic way, literally from one day to the other. This is what happened to the countries that are now in recession. So why not have a very popular, very successful and democratic educational system, not imposed, but proposed and applied to all member states? These are my ideas, and I want you to think about them, and maybe we discuss them in the next few days that we have here in this wonderful program. After all, don't we all want a unified, democratic Europe with shared values of equity, of democracy, and of all citizens having the same opportunity in good education? This is what I would like you to think about, and maybe we share ideas in the next days. Thank you very much.